The Charlotte Hornets offseason has come and gone, and once again, pretty disappointing. I have to say for myself, I thought we were going to make, a little bit bigger of a move. We did not sign a single free agent. We just kind of retained our guys, and MJ went out and picked Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson. Now, everybody knows, if you've been watching this channel at least, Scoot was my guy. They go out, they get Brandon Miller, and it's kind of growing on me. We're going to talk about that in depth later on in the video, though. They also get Nick Smith Jr. at the end of the first round, which could turn out to be a really, really good pick. LaMelo Ball gets locked up long term, and then, like I said, we're going to talk about Brandon Miller for quite some time here in today's video. Also talking about Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, all the free agent situations. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below. Now let's go ahead. First, odds are you are not subscribed to the channel because about 97% of my audience is not. So if you are one of those 97%, just go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications. This is the place to be if you do enjoy basketball content. Now let's go ahead and get started talking about Brandon Miller. And like I said, it's kind of growing on me ever since draft night. I was dead set on Scoot Henderson, so getting him, it kind of hurt me a little bit. But then 18.8 points per game for him, 8.2 rebounds. He's going to come into the league. Now he wasn't great in the summer league. He had one good game, but other than that, he was not very good. However, he has a very valuable archetype, and the Hornets, for some odd reason, for 2 summer leagues in a row, have decided to not get a true point guard on their summer league roster. So Brandon Miller, for the most part, ended up playing a lot of point guard. He actually had a decent amount of assists for a 6'9" forward that is really known as a scorer, outside shooter. He had a decent amount of assists, so that was, I guess that's a bright spot, I guess you could say. By no means are we bringing him in to play point guard, but because we have LaMelo Ball, one of the best passers in the league. But he is, another outside shooter, should be good for us. Now, Nick Smith Jr., former number 1 overall recruit, makes us feel better about not getting Scoot Henderson because he is a guy that, if he can do what he did in the summer league, he was going shot for shot with Shadon Sharp down the stretch. Wasn't for injuries, I feel like he would have been a lottery pick. But the talent is definitely there. So I'm excited. He'll probably spend a lot of time in the G League this year. But at 27, I feel like this was a steal. This feels like a Jaden Hardy type pick from a year ago, where top-ranked guard, deals with injuries, inefficiency in college, or in Scoot's case, the G League. And then I think he's going to come in and he's going to play pretty good this year. If not this year, next year, I feel like. Maybe we can move on from Terry Rozier in favor of Nick Smith Jr. We also go out and get Amari Bailey and James Najee later on in the second round. Najee could be a high-value pick, but there's a very low chance of it happening. And then Amari Bailey, I'm not really seeing him long-term playing a big role. Now, Miles Bridges signs a qualifying offer, which is good for us this year. It gives us a lot more cap space if we want to go out and sign somebody. Honestly, we could sign Kelly Oubre back to like a 1-year deal. You see the stats there for Miles. He was really good in his last season for the Hornets. He says he wants to be a Charlotte Hornet long-term. So, with the sides a long way apart in terms of an extension, hopefully he comes out, he plays well on the Hornets' side. All right, we got to pay this guy because he's a big-time piece of our franchise. The guy shot at 60% from 2-point range, en route to averaging 20 a game. Also is an interior presence. Melo and Brandon Miller will be filling it up from deep. So having Miles to score around the rim, same thing with Mark Williams, will be very nice. I think those 4 guys will fit together very well. And then I'm guessing Terry Rozier will be the 5th guy out there. But we will talk about lineups later in today's video. Now, with Miles, with PJ Washington, both signing the qualifying, this is how the cap sheet is going to look. We're still going to have around $18 million, so we could, like I said, go out and sign like a Kelly Oubre to a 1-year deal. Bring him back and just run it back with last year's squad, except LaMelo's healthy, Cody Martin's healthy, Miles is back, Mark Williams is a whole lot better. We could do that. And then, like I said, next year the cap sheet opens up a lot more. You will have to throw in the 40-some million or whatever it is that we're paying LaMelo Ball. So we'll have probably $40 million to work with in free agency if I had to guess. So, giving Miles maybe $25 million, giving PJ $15 million, and we'd still be right there at the cap as long as PJ is still, serviceable. I think that's, a great option to pursue. Now, like I said, Kelly Oubre is expected to walk. If he better be wanting more than like $20 million, $17 million. Because if he signs for $15 million for like 2 years, I will be livid. I will be heated. I might be going to Charlotte myself to talk to MJ or Kupchak. 20 points a game, 5.2 rebounds last year for Oubre. Now, he had the highest usage rate of his career, so his efficiency dropped. But in that role that he's used to playing, the 3-and-D guy off the bench that can come in and be a microwave scorer for you, I think he could be elite. I don't know why we're not bringing him back. Now, our other free agents, we already talked about PJ a little bit, but Dennis Smith, we haven't talked about him at all. He was a free agent this year. He actually leaves to go to Brooklyn. Averaged 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. It is unfortunate, and we actually offered more than minimum contract for him, which is what he signed for in Brooklyn. But I'm guessing he sees more of an opportunity to play in Brooklyn because, the Hornets have a whole lot of guards, and, you can't really fault the guy for that. He's definitely going to have more PT up in Brooklyn, although he would have been a great backup point guard for us. And then PJ Washington, about 16 points. He was pretty good for us last year. Again, highest usage rate of his career, I'd have to imagine, just because everybody was hurt, so he had to play a much bigger role. So we'll see how he ends up playing out. Going to be playing the year on the qualifying deal, so he's going to be in a big contract year. And we also have all these guards. With Dennis Smith Jr. out of the question, we now no longer have a backup point guard unless it's going to be Teo Maledon coming back. But we have guys like James Bouknight, who I'm pretty close to giving up on Bouknight. I hate to say it, but I'm pretty close to giving up on him. Amari Bailey, Nick Smith Jr., Bryce McGowens. I'd have to say Nick Smith Jr. and James Bouknight would be my favorites there. Melo and Terry are the starters. It's been rumored that we want to go out and get like a DeLon Wright from the Washington Wizards, which I wouldn't hate. And then you also have Cody Martin, and if Kelly Oubre comes back, those are both 2/3s that could be taking up some guard PT as well. So lots of logjam at the guard spot. Teo Maledon wasn't even thrown in there. But this is a look at what I think the lineup will be next year, and I think this is a very good lineup. Melo, Terry, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, that is a lot of scoring. People don't want to talk about it, but Terry Rozier has been a 20-point-per-game scorer in Charlotte for the last 3 years. Melo averaged 24 a game last year, although he wasn't all the way healthy. Miles averaged 20 a game in his most recent season in Charlotte. Brandon Miller averaged 20 a game this year in college, which is actually a lot harder to do than you might think. And then Mark Williams, he doesn't really score a lot of points, but he's going to be an elite defender. Miles can defend a little bit. LaMelo can defend a little bit. My worry for this team is going to be the perimeter defense, which is, we're probably going to have to bring most of our defenders off the bench. So, like a Kelly Oubre, if he does come back, I'd love to have him off the bench because he is an above-average perimeter defender. Teo Maledon, above-average perimeter defender. Dennis would have been perfect off the bench because he was an above-average perimeter defender. He's no longer there. I'm not sure who the backup point guard is going to be. It could be Nick Smith Jr. But, if they do trade for DeLon Wright, I actually would not hate that because that would be a good addition there. He would fit into the team very well. Bouknight at the backup too. Big make-or-break season for him. If he doesn't play well, wouldn't be shocked to see Cody Martin taking his spot Actually, Cody Martin might just have that spot in general to start the year. Paying Gordon Hayward $30 million to come off the bench is not exactly ideal, but hey, we're Charlotte. We got to overpay for guys to come in, and unfortunately, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy the whole time. PJ, I'd like to see a good season out of PJ so we can lock him up long term. And then Nick Richards at the backup 5 is actually better than you might think. These 3 draft picks from a couple of years ago, they got to get it together, man. Kai Jones, of course, dunked on Wembanyama. That's so far been the highlight of his NBA career, and it was in the Summer League. We still got Bryce McGowens, Nick Smith Jr., who could be getting a shot this year if guys like James Bouknight do not produce. So, yeah, with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. I feel like the Hornets could be a playoff team next year, but we shall see. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure to the like button and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy today's video at any point. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.